Hi there, everybody, and guess what? The SBA has released PPP guidance so that we can start asking for loans, which is great. Now let's get started. We're going to go over how to get a new loan, the rules around second draw loans, some set-asides that the government has put it there for small businesses, minority-owned businesses, and women-owned businesses. Go over the general rules about the PPP and the next best steps. So before I get into that, please take a second, subscribe to the channel. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to hurt you. It's just go into your phone and pressing the like button and then pressing the subscribe button. And I promise you, I am not going to put out any videos. No, a lot of the videos that I might put out might offend you. That's okay. So let's talk about PPP. Oh, yeah. And by the way, this link over here that you see, that's my PayPal. You can send me a tip for doing these videos. I'm trying to get out there and help the small business owner help try and attain these loans and grants. So let's get into it. This is what I have ascertained or looked at the PPP guidance that was just released last night and what they're going to be talking about. Again, new loans, the second draw loans, general rules, woman-owned, minority-owned set-asides, and what's next. So to get a new loan, a business has to have 500 or fewer employees and are not eligible for other SBA 7A loans. It's open to sole proprietors, independent contractors, or eligible self-employed individuals, nonprofits, and churches, news organizations, chamber of commerce, visitor bureaus, and what's called destination marketing organizations. So they've opened it up for a lot of smaller businesses and more niche businesses to be able to get some of this funding, and that's fantastic. Now, if you're going for a second PPP, you have to have 300 or fewer employees. You have to use the entire amount of the first PPP that you took out and experience a revenue reduction of 25% or more in a quarter of 2020 when compared to a quarter of 2019. Not the same quarter, a quarter, and that's a big difference. Now, the loans for the second draw are limited to $2 million, and in there, in the SBA's guidance, they did not give a definition on how to calculate your gross receipts, but they already did in the first CARES Act, so I'm suggesting that it's going to be the same calculation used for the first PPP. That's common sense. Now, the maximum loan amounts for PPP, and this is the calculation that you have to make before you decide to take the PPP. It's going to be 2.5 times the average monthly payroll cost. Now, any employee who makes over $100,000, they're not counted in that average payroll cost. And if you're in a hotel or a restaurant, it's 3.5. The maximum amount for the loan is $10 million. Now, I have some Excel sheets with my program that all you have to do is plug in the numbers, and it's going to calculate that for you. It's pretty easy to do, actually. The PPP also now has new eligible cost. So before it was payroll, rent, mortgage interest, and utilities. That's still there. But they've expanded it for facility modification expenditures, your HEPA filters, personal protective equipment, mask for your employees, and anything else that you think would help your office, business, or place of employment to keep it COVID free. Now, they've averaged, this is political if you ask me, but if your business was damaged by a riot in the summer and your insurance company did not cover it, the PPP will. Go America. Then expenditures to suppliers, so your outstanding bills before the pandemic, well, it could be written off on the PPP. And this is where it really gets interesting. They've decided to cover business software, cloud computing, anything that facilitates your business operation, a product, sale, or delivery. So anything that you use on the internet to help your business is covered on the PPP. The processing, payment, or tracking of payroll expenses, human resources, sales, and billing functions. Again, something like Salesforce or HubSpot. Accounting or tracking of supplies, inventory, records, and expenses. So they've really opened it up here for software and even some 1099 work if they're doing some some essential business function, some operating functions of the business. It can be covered on your PPP. That's big. That's a really, really big deal. This is what has most of the ears perked. And as I record this at 10:30 on the 8th, I'm sure banks are already getting lit up with companies attempting to get their first loan forgiven. And it's easy to do. So if you have a loan, a PPP loan of $150,000 or less, you need to submit to your lender a page, one-page document that says how many jobs you saved, how much you took in that loan, and how much you spent of the loan. Now, the SBA will put out that form, but I'm sure your bank already is getting ready because they're the ones who complained and said we have too much to go through to look at all of these loans. So we need a much more simplified process. Now, keep in mind that the SBA may review and audit the loans to check for fraud, and they will. So just because $150,000 can be forgiven doesn't mean that you should go out and buy yourself frivolous goods. Buy goods for your business that's going to help grow your business, whether it be accounting or sales or HR. Hire new workers. Hire a sales force. So this is kind of revolutionary. I have never in my 20-year professional history in government contracts and loans heard of such a simplified way to get a loan forgiven. So I'm going to keep my eye very closely to this to see if there's any changes. But I do know that there's hundreds of millions of dollars allocated for audits. So be wary. Be safe. Now, if you are a set-aside, a woman-owned business, veteran, minority, underserved, there's some money set aside in the overall Economic Aid Act for you. So $15 billion is going to be for first and second draw loans for community financial institutions, banks that lend to minorities. Another $15 billion is going to go to credit unions and smaller banks that are less than, have assets less than $10 billion. So that's going to give smaller banks a chance to be able to lend to their community. Now, $35 billion is going to be set aside for first draw PPP and $15 for second draw PPP. Now, if you have a maximum of 10 employees or loans in $250,000, or you're going after a loan of $250K or less, and you live in a low or moderate income neighborhood, $25 billion is going to be set aside for you. That's a big deal. Now, if you don't know if you are in a low income neighborhood, I have a map, a HUBZONE map, that's in the comment section of this video, and you'll be able to check your business address and see if you're in a HUBZONE and qualify for that set aside, for that first draw. Now, I'll put this up here. I'm not going to go over it, what it is. It's just the SBA saying that they're going to work harder with small businesses, specifically veteran, women-owned, minority businesses through different established networks and platforms that they already have. Now, if you want this PowerPoint, please fill out a form and I'll send it to you so you can spend your time going over it. I'll also send you out the 2 guidance documents that the SBA put out yesterday so that you can have their terminology and not just my explanation. So what's next for you? Well, don't go to the SBA.gov and try to apply for a PPP. You have to get a lender. Now, I have a list of lenders that I've cultivated, and I'll also send out to you, and they're both a brick and mortar and online, so that you can start your application process. I have established a relationship with a couple of these so that your process can be just a little bit more streamlined. I've heard that these things are going to get turned around in a matter of hours. Now, last time it was a little slow to start, but the mechanisms that the lenders have in place right now are good enough, or shall I say, they're better than before to not have the same type of hiccups. So, with that said, find your lender, but you're going to have to get your tax documents in order. I have also a list of tax documents and where on those tax documents you need to look in order to fill out the PPP for the first time. You have to get your employee records. You have to get a list of your eligible expenses together and your operating needs, and then make a COVID wish list. And what I mean by that is think about your business and what needs your business has in order to make it pandemic proof. Start there. If you need help, contact me. We'll brainstorm. We'll come up with a business plan to help you go forward in 21, 22, 23. Guys, this is going to go on. So get all your ducks in a row. Get your paperwork in a row. Now, I have said before, I can help you. I can do the application assistance. I can help you find the lender, help you find those eligible services to build your businesses, all in one package. So go ahead and leave me a message. Fill out a form, find me on my social media. I'm here to help. So thanks so much. Again, I ask you to subscribe. Have a great day. Enjoy the weekend. Go fill out your PPP applications. Thanks. Bye-bye.